Why do you have kids leave the classroom, go out in the mountains? There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. Why the hell would you do this?
You can see the fear in their eyes. We're talking about some kids that spend very little time outdoors. And so this is a big deal.
It's gonna be so weird being alone. Here we go.
So Josh and I are back here in New Hampshire at Holderness, where we went to high school 30 years ago, and it's 50 years since the Outback program was started, and we're here to kind of tell its story. And you know, I've got the same nerves thinking about going back out on it as I did when I was 16.
The story is something that we both have personal ties to. It's a program that I did almost 30 years ago. You know, it was something that pushed me to my limits, but something that I've pulled on for years in the outdoor world.
It's exciting and nerve-wracking too, you know.
So everybody's trying to get to here. This is where base camp is.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous about Cisco Maggie's group just because they haven't done that bushwhack yet.
So there's 100 kids in the woods there, but they're all 200 yards apart.
Yeah.
So it's all within this nexus of roads. So they've all come into this one little area.
What percentage of students have spent much time doing stuff?
Not much at all.
Yeah.
This is going to be like sleeping out in the woods in the wintertime. This will be the first.
Yeah.
So. OB began because of a need to do something that would challenge kids in a way that they'd never been challenged before.
So Bill Clough had gone on one of these outward bound trips and discovered that it was a great experience for getting you out of yourself and challenging yourself to something new and different. And he just figured that kids needed a more real experience.
You're going to have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
The groups are getting together with their leaders, they're getting all their gear checked out, and then they'll be getting the food together and apportioning that out.
Learn about what we're taking. Yeah, just getting ready to go out in the woods.
Every snowstorm this winter has been followed by rain, and I think we're going to see some 40-degree rainy days, so we'll have to be really proactive to stay warm and dry and safe.
These pants, my gloves.
The other thing that they worry about the most, I think, is probably that 3-day solo. I think they're just afraid of being alone, and that in itself is a valuable experience.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Never.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's great.
Hope Mother Nature treats us well.
Yes.
That's it, shut the door.
Hey, good luck.
Bye.
Let's go! 1, 2, 3. Drinking!
Keep coming. Tiring. Starting to envision my doom in the next 10 days.
So the reason that we're not staying here is not because we saw one set of bear tracks. It's because it's definitely, that bear's hanging there. And do we really want to be intruders into that bear's neighborhood?
It's cool. This is our
You were
first
actually
day we saw
staring at
wildlife signs. So we're gonna keep pushing on past this water source.
Packing down the snow, flattening it out for our camp, making a nice flat base layer.
You see that? You guys did that all with a dead man? Yeah. You can go right back through that little grommet, right? So we're gonna practice that again. Watch this. Boom, packed up, ready to go Monday morning.
It needs to burn a bit.
It's going. That crackling is the birch bark lighting.
First old bee fire looking fire.
You know, amazingly, a program like this has not only survived for 50 years, but changed very little. But a lot of what's done out here is still fairly primitive. You're sleeping under simple shelters. Most of the cooking is done over fires.
This is the peak of the peak. So we came in through there. So we're probably right around in there, right before.
Right. But what can you tell me about any place the contour lines are close together? What does that mean about the ground?
Very steep.
It's steep. And if the contour lines are really far apart,
it's like probably
it's
close to the
flat.
ground.
It's fun to see the relationship between the students and the group of students and their leaders develop over the course of the week. It's almost like peers working with each other.
1, 2, 3.
And then
The leaders, it isn't somebody that's been hired to do this, to take me out in the woods. We're teachers, we're coaches, we're athletic trainers.
That last step is really tough to describe. But you got it!
Hey!
This morning we got up early, cleaned up camp, and started hiking. It was pretty steep.
This trail is always an adventure. It's just a good challenge. It's remote, rugged, just what we need.
You know, making goals for yourself slowly, but you know, mentally getting through it's a big aspect of it.
I think these 4 days have all been preparing us, learning how to build shelters and make fires and do everything that you need to survive for 3 days by yourself.
So with that training, it's incredible. They go off not without fear. They're certainly nervous, certainly scared, but a pretty high degree of resolve and belief in themselves and that they can do this.
we're kind of going to walk along this little log rocky area, and then you're going to take a 90-degree turn.
Oh, I'm going to fall over. Oh my goodness, my cousin.
Oh, yeah, Maddie.
day we hiked like 6 miles, but it was no uphill, so I'm fine with that. And now we're at our last campsite, Tail Solo.
You know, I'm not nervous about actually living, you know, I think I'll be fine, but I've never spent that much time by myself and truly alone, just with my thoughts, without a book or a computer. So I'm pretty excited to see what that's like, but I'm a little bit nervous.
Around 40 miles per hour with gusts up to 60 miles per hour after midnight. Chance of precipitation 70%.
You need to think about all the people who've done it before.
Yeah.
And then you need to think about the like insidious little quitting voice that exists in everyone's brain and what you're gonna do when it creeps up. When it comes up and tells you like, oh, you could quit right now and go home. You're gonna be like, F you, I'm winning this.
It's Friday morning. We send the students out for solo this morning. It's been lots of rain and now some sleet, but I think it's gonna be a tough send-off in these conditions.
Rain came a little bit early, but you know, nothing you can do about Mother Nature.
So we went in, it must have been around 11 o'clock, and it was absolutely pouring. It was kind of miserable.
You could sense the fear and yet the underlying belief that I can do this. I saw that in all the kids' eyes.
First things first, all right? We're gonna talk about emergencies, 3 different levels of emergencies and what you do. Worst case scenario, you're stuck in your site for some reason. What do you do? Blow your whistle. Blow your whistle.
Man, this is no fun. Oh, it's going through my head as I really want this rain to stop, but I'm also really nervous.
Group hug, guys. You guys pretty sure Madison can do this? Yeah, give her a hug.
Hell
Give
yeah!
Madison a hug.
Solo is such an integral part of the whole OB experience. It's the scary part, it's the dreaded part, but it's where I think the most challenge and perseverance and tenacity, it comes all mixed together.
Right. My 0 human contact begins. Here we go.
Taking time to quiet the body, quiet the mind, to quiet the spirit. These kids don't get that opportunity very often.
So tonight I'm setting off to go spend the night by myself. I'm going to see if I can build a fire. I'm going to see if I can build a shelter.
So Josh and I are up here on Birch Hill, and we're each going to stake out our own sites and not see each other for the rest of our mini solo. I've got my little sea shelter here. As is the solo tradition, there's no tents, no mega mids, no nothing. Just a good old hardware store tarp. I'm thrilled to know that down in these woods down beneath us, there's 70 students right now. And for them to have the opportunity to turn off, to unplug, is something they probably have never had in their entire lives.
Have fun, bud. Bye.
Good luck, buddy.
There's so many days in your life that you'll never remember. But I remember every day on OB, particularly the 3 days of solo. The Outback program shaped a lot of my relationship with myself and my relationship with the outdoor world.
For me, I look back at the experience on OB, and the things that I learned 30 years ago I've carried with me on all 7 continents, up Mount Everest, Antarctica, the Ruwenzori, you know, all around the world. My career has really been built around the mountains.
So I built a shelter. It's tucked out of the wind. The real reason I'm here is up here. I'm gonna build a fire and look out over the valley where all the students are having their solo. There's base camp down there in the middle. Bear Mountain behind it. It's gorgeous.
Time to go to bed, and yeah, we'll see how the night goes.
HALLE! HALLE! Congratulations, Joe! Hey! Tell me about last night. You get cold?
I was cold last night.
It was colder last night than it's been yet.
Yeah. I walked up there to get beach trees, but that's about as far as I went.
Joey! Yes! Joey!
How was your solo?
It was tough, and I will not do it again, but I do not regret going on it, and I think it's a very valuable experience.
When I first got on solo, it was really cold and raining.
During the days, it was so long, and like it just didn't seem like the sun was moving in the sky.
It's a lot of time by yourself. I got lonely, but I just kind of took that time, found a bunch of firewood, tried to keep myself busy.
And the second day, it was hard to handle the loneliness at first. I'm a very social person. I love being around people.
And then the third day was just like, I'm ready to get out of here. Felt like I wrote a book in my journal.
What's it like being unplugged for that long?
It's been awesome. It's been so awesome.
So nice.
I love not being with my
I wrote
phone.
about that on solo. I was like, it just feels good to be away.
There's
from
no
social
worries.
media.
Like, we're not thinking about anything else, what anyone else is doing. Like, we're just really in the moment. Yeah.
To feel what others feel and to see your own emotions. You know, have a nice connection with your group and to actually get away from life for a bit. Kind of feels good.
I see pride. There's that sense of pride, like I did this, I accomplished this. And I accomplished this because I relied on others and others relied on me.
And so by the time they get to the end, they're a very different person from when they started.
I'm grateful for the sun yesterday that came out after a really rainy and cold first solo day. That told us that as long as we hang in there, the sun will come out.
Final home stretch!
The junior class comes in as one class and comes out of Outback a totally different one. The lessons that are learned through adversity are are incredibly profound.
It is fat up here. I think today, OB, and the experience that the students get out of it could be more relevant than when I did it almost 30 years ago or when it started 50 years ago.
Wow. This is something.
Sir, Joby.
You realize what you're capable of, and you learn so much.
You're learning how to interact with others, and you're learning how to truly be with yourself, which is essentially the most important skill in life.